guys, welcome back. Today's god of the day is not considered a god by some people, and some people think he's just a figure from a story. But today we're going to be talking about Coyote. Because I was trying to start god of the day, I was trying to restart it, and I was, thinking, well, I'll do Athena, and that wasn't working. And I thought, well, I'll go back and I'll do the two videos again that I deleted because they were just gone. And something kept getting in the way. Zero inspiration. I went to Odin, I went to Loki, I went to everybody. Finally, I went on Pinterest today and I said, who's getting in my way? No offense meant, but who's getting in my way? Who wants a video? Coyotes everywhere, like plenty coyotes. And butterflies, but I was thinking, okay, is a coyote and Ugu working together? But then I'm like, well, Coyote does roll over transformation too. Coyote is a trickster figure. And Coyote very smart. And I'm not going to insult my audience by trying to spell or pronounce any of the First Nation names, but Coyote will do. Coyote is a trickster figure, so he rule over life and death. In some stories, he is a creation god. In some stories, his brother Wolf is the creator. And I'm like getting this real careful look. And there's this one creation story where they create humans and everything else. And at the time, there's no death in the world. And Coyote loves us just fine. Coyote's very fond of humans. And Coyote is like, yay, humans. And Wolf can see long range. Wolf can see longer than most people. And Wolf says, this is not good. Humans have to have a lifespan like everything else. Humans have to die. And Coyote is like, no. But finally, his brother convinces him. And he's like, okay. And they let death into the world. And the time comes when Wolf himself gets very old and he realizes he's dying and he goes to Coyote and he says, brother, I've changed my mind. We can't have death. It's terrible. I'm not going to die. I didn't mean me. I meant, everyone else. And Coyote goes, no, brother, you set up the law. And Coyote's kind of the law keeper. And Coyote says, I'm sorry, I can't exempt you from the law. Then he has to exempt everyone, right? Because everybody will have some kind of story why they can't die. So his brother has to die, and his brother takes over the underworld and looks over and loves and protects the dead, and Coyote rules, the world of the living. And there's all sorts of stories about how Coyote stole something. He stole fire, he stole the sun, he stole the moon, he stole blankets from the stone people. He is always taking what Coyote can get his little coyote paws on, and usually for a good reason. Like if Coyote would steal fire, he would bring it back to the humans because he would feel sorry for the humans. If Coyote would steal magic, he would steal magic because he's going to help people. Eventually. He's going to have Coyote fun along the way, but eventually he's going to get around to helping people. He is very insulted, Bill. And there are like other stories too of Coyote. There's like countless stories where like there's this one that when I was a tutor, we had actually Coyote Tale. And Coyote is walking along, and Coyote is very old and very vulnerable. And Coyote comes to this tree, and when Coyote wants to, Coyote has wonderful manners. And Coyote's like, oh, beautiful, wondrous tree, will you please open and let a poor old coyote sleep? And the tree is very flattered, and the tree opens up, and Coyote goes into sleep. But this is Coyote. He also has the other side that is all about Coyote and not about you. So Coyote wakes up, yawns, goes, that was a very good nap, which is as close as that part of Coyote gets to a compliment. And he says, okay, tree, you can open up now. Well, he doesn't say please, and doesn't say thank you. He's very self-centered. And the tree's mad, and the tree's not going to open up, and Coyote has a short fuse, so he starts to scream and kick and bite at the tree and say, you stupid tree, you open up now! I demand you open up. The tree's not going to do anything. Coyote can't make it. So Coyote's sitting there fuming. And then he starts to cry and feel sorry for himself because this is Coyote and he doesn't understand what he did wrong. He's a trickster. And there's this knothole. And Coyote being Coyote, he can break the laws of physics long before Deadpool ever existed. So he starts pulling little parts of Coyote off, like a paw and a leg. And this is just going just fine. So Coyote passes all his Coyote parts through. Every bit of Coyote goes through this knothole. And somebody steals his eyes. I think Blue Jay is the one blamed for stealing his eyes, but somebody steals his eyes because the animals are all at the time thieving off one another. So Coyote gets out, he starts putting himself all back together, and Coyote discovers he has no eyes. So he makes up this story to fool Snell into giving him Snell's eyes. And he takes Snell's eyes and he's looking around and he can see just fine. These are even better than his original eyes, which were very beautiful, which is why the bird stole them. But he's like, these will work. These will work. And he runs away, laughing. And poor Snell is crawling around blind to this day because Coyote stole his eyes. Coyote is always stealing something, and Coyote is always tricking, say the other animals or the other spirits or the other creators into giving him something. But usually it's for humans' benefit. He does like humans. He's very human friendly, very human centric. That said, he's a trickster spirit, and if you are going to look at Coyote, some people are going to be like, no, Coyote is very dangerous and Coyote is very mean. It depends on, whether are you looking at Coyote as a creator spirit, or are you looking at Coyote as an animal, or are you looking at Coyote as a totem? These are all, different things, and sometimes the stories get jumbled up together. Some people think that Coyote is just a figure in stories, and some people, kind of like a culture hero, and, it's not like anybody ever worked with Coyote. Yet you can buy Coyote everything, you really can. But again, it's like, are you working with Coyote the creator god, or are you working with Coyote the spirit, or are you working with Coyote, the animal spirit, or what are you working with? So, I knew it would be very short because there are totally inappropriate Coyote stories out there about, Coyote adult stories. There are plenty out there. You can look those up if you're mature age. And Coyote is like that. He thinks with his coyote parts and he thinks with his coyote belly. And that is all you need to know about Coyote some days. And if he can trick you and he can come into schmooze food and get music and get maybe, like, say, incense or candle or something, Coyote will come in and do that. Now, some people will freak out and say you should never give anything to anybody showing up as Coyote anything because he's a trickster, or Coyote doesn't exist and who knows what actually showed up. But whoever is showing up as Coyote for me always dispenses practical advice. He's very interested in, say, in my experience, me working with like any deities or spirits or whatever you want to say of, like, say, First Nations or, South America or, wherever. He's the one that kind of put himself in charge because he's Coyote. And, if you work with Coyote, sometimes Wolf will drop by, and if you work with them, then they will lead you on to respectfully work with, say, Grandmother Spider or whomever. And this is not going to be a contest. If you start to tell me, no, it's uncle, or no, it's this, I'm going to shut you down. All the cultures were different. I can't stand people that get their perspective and won't admit that there are other perspectives you can see from. I will just shut you down. I don't go down for that. And that's kind of a Coyote trait too. Like, Coyote, if you're going to argue with him, you are going to lose. If you're going to lose, you will not win an argument with Coyote. If Coyote lets you win, he will just come back later with something else. We don't work super closely all the time. It's like when Coyote breezes in, Coyote gets food, and Coyote gets what Coyote wants. Like, Coyote wanted his own video, and then Coyote runs away. And I said, I'm trying to explain to Coyote that there's a difference between gods that are classically recognized as gods and Coyote. I'm getting mangy Coyote back here. And I'm like, this is where the series is running into trouble. I should be doing Athena, I should be doing someone else, and Coyote will just stare at you like he has never heard such nonsense. And it is kind of a teacher in that you have to reach a point where, okay, you've left Greece, and you've left, say, Rome, and you've left Northlands. Do any of the other gods in existence, or the spirits, or anything, do they matter? And if they matter to you, are they equal, or are they these cute lesser things over here that we don't need to talk about? Coyote will demand equal rights for everyone else, and he will screech for equal rights until he gets them, and you give up, and you're like, fine, here, Coyote, have it. So, I really enjoy working with him. Let me have some coffee. And he really doesn't ask for much. I don't think he approved when I deleted those 2 videos, but he was like, I see where you're coming from, but it's also wrong in a way, because if spirits work with you, there are going to be people unhappy that they work with you, but you have to think, who are you serving, those unhappy people, or, the spirits that work with you? Coyote will never tell me what Coyote considers Coyote. Coyote won't say if Coyote sees Coyote as a spirit or a trickster figure or a god, or what Coyote sees Coyote as. Coyote is just Coyote. No, he is a trickster, and he can have a sense of humor that's kind of strange. So if you're working with him, you sometimes have to tell him, "Hey, Coyote, that's not funny. Please don't do that." So, all in all, he's good. I would say if he's showing up in your life, it's fine, you're safe. But I wouldn't always just call on Coyote because if he's in a grumpy mood, that's leave Coyote alone time. That's, grumpy Coyote. There are those Coyote videos on YouTube that, Coyote Animal and Coyote Coyote are not the same thing, but those cranky, snarly, bitey coyotes, he can be like that. He can be like that. There's some truth in looking at the animal and then looking at Coyote. So it's, they're two completely different things, but Coyote can have that nasty side to his temperament. Usually he's very sweet, but if he's in a bad mood, everybody leaves Coyote alone because Coyote fireworks are going to go off until Coyote simmers down. And then he's very contrite and he does try to make up for what he did. But you really, if you don't have to be in the Coyote fire zone, don't be in the Coyote fire zone. Just go find something else to do for a while. He's very loyal. He's very sweet. He just doesn't seem to have the idea of staying around all the time. He gets bored easily. He goes on walkabouts. So if you're one of those people that falls in love with the idea of having someone to work with on a daily basis, maybe your experience will be different, but maybe Coyote will break your heart too, because Coyote comes and goes as Coyote pleases in my experience. There may be people he stays with for 40 years. He's very ambivalent towards being portrayed in popular culture. He likes attention like everyone else, but at the same time, getting none of that weird furry shit. Thank you. Other than that, he's fine. He wants to be seen as dignified and great and very fine. The finer and higher you place Coyote, the better for Coyote. And if he could get a Coyote temple out of you, he would. This is a trickster. Whether he deserves it or not, sorry, Coyote. Whether he deserves it or not, he will get everything he can out of you. Coyote would be the one to march into a place someday and say, I have 500 of these humans married to me, and I have 200 temples, and I have dancing girls, and everybody will be like, Coyote, you shouldn't have any of that. How the hell did you get it? I am Coyote. I have everything. So, Coyote is very pleased with Coyote. No one loves Coyote more than Coyote. Coyote thinks Coyote is marvelous. That said, he's very friendly and playful and a trickster. Just, watch out for the Coyote temper. It doesn't go off often, but when it goes off, then he's mad at you. If you're lucky, he'll just walk away and I'll talk to you for a couple weeks. If you're unlucky, Wolf and Raven, everybody else will be coming into your life like, what are you doing? Why you're doing this? So I can feel like there's a line up at the door. But Coyote was saying it wasn't fair. He says you're doing a very white list here because Coyote gets down to brass tacks very fast. I'm like, yeah. I said the way things are now, Coyote, people don't want to see you doing anything outside of your space. And he just tilts his head and looks at you like, did you just say I'm different from you? That's not what I said, Coyote. Yes, I think that's what you said. And then he will go into saying things, and I won't repeat what he said, but something about being at the side of the road selling blankets to tourists. And that's okay because poor Coyote isn't loved anymore. I'm like, Coyote, you can't say that. And Coyote can say whatever the hell he pleases. And he is like that. If you want to work with Coyote, if Coyote starts coming into your life, or any of the other First Nation spirits, obviously, if you can genuinely give back to First Nations, not in a pitying sense, not in a you're so different sense, or you need all the help you can get sense, but in a way of I'm working with, those from your culture, and I do want to show all love and respect. You can do that. You can certainly support, artisans that are actually from, a culture that works with Coyote, as opposed to, I know we all love the cheaper, softer ways sometimes, but, getting Coyote stuff from First Nations culture would be nice and go a long way. And just, supporting things, and if you see something going wrong and you can help, you can sign a petition, or you can go do something, or you can, do whatever you can, you know better than me what you can do, then that will help Coyote. It will help Coyote if you just don't grab him and say, I can have Coyote because I saw him and I want him. It helps him if you respect and you learn about the cultures, and you learn about the nations that work with him, and you learn about, how some people love Coyote and some people are like, oh, here comes that pain in the ass Coyote. What's he want now? He can mess up stuff. He can full stop override everyone else I've seen. And if he doesn't want something to happen, Coyote doesn't want it to happen. And God of the Day wasn't going forward until Coyote got his due. And Coyote's like, yes, Coyote got his due, and he's gonna go off, and he's gonna sing, he's gonna dance. Of course, he might decide Coyote needs Coyote Day now because Coyote Day now. And Coyote might decide he needs food and feasting and a candle and all this stuff, and people are going to be going, that's not right. We never give Coyote any of that. You might not give it to Coyote traditionally, so you might not go into any of the stories and find out that people were like giving Coyote stuff. Like there's no Coyote temple that we know of. Same time, if Coyote wants something, just give it to Coyote. And as we all know, the Kavita on this channel is, some people say Coyote exists, some people say he doesn't. So if he doesn't exist, this is just Loki having funsies, but even Loki doesn't keep stuff up for this long, so I'd say it's Coyote. So if you guys like what you see, oh, Coyote got a respectable amount of time, Coyote will be happy. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. I know that was kind of rough. I'm just getting back into gear, and you have to make sure Coyote's happy. He's a sweetheart, but make sure he's happy. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.